All right, you guys, what is going on? This is your boy Town Biz. So, you know, I'm out and about just chilling, getting ready to make some big moves. Hopefully they pay off in the long run. So, like I said, I'm working on a couple of things to improve the channel, better the channel. So, may have some announcements coming pretty soon. Oh, by the way, once again, gonna have that sneaker giveaway. When I hit 15,000, I'm like 500, 400 and some change away from 15,000. So when I hit 15,000, I'm gonna give away a pair of kicks. Then when I hit 20, I'm going to give away probably $200 cash or whatever, maybe some other prizes or whatever. But with that being said, let's just talk some boxing. You Tank fans, y'all are getting worse by the minute. I don't know who worse out of Tank fans, Canelo fans, Triple G fans, and some of these Spence fans. Tank continues to display his blatant, obvious fear of Shakur Stevenson. This man talks about what happened in sparring, but he don't want to get in the ring. He talk about what he did to Devin Haney, but he refused to fight Devin Haney. He doesn't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. He's talking about he won't give Shakur Stevenson a payday, but he'll rather take second billing to Jake Paul. And who knows what type of intentions Jake Paul is going to have leading up to that fight in November. And Tank has already pretty much made it very clear in all likelihood that he will retire after the Jake Paul fight, which is not going to be a real fight, which I don't understand. Why would you have judges if it's not going to go against your record? So it's going to be, well, if this was a real fight, what would have happened is, like, that's pretty much what they're doing. So, hey, what's up, Adi? Hey, I'm chilling at Southland Mall and stuff. Cause that traffic is a mug, so I'm chilling at Southland. I'm waiting till that traffic die down a little bit before I get on the way. Yeah, you know what's up. You know what's up. Yeah, you know what's up. Yeah, I just talked to Bill. I just talked to Bill Haney like about 15 minutes ago. So, we working on some things. So hopefully, depending on what happens with Devin and Brian Norman Jr., we gonna try to get a fight. We gonna try to get a fight in the Bay. And Bill is talking about he gonna have Devin fight in Detroit too, because that's where Bill's mama is from. So, Devin's next fight, in all likelihood, depending on what happened with Norman Jr., is gonna be in the Bay and in Detroit. And I'm gonna pull up to both of them. So, yeah. Hold on, let me. Yeah, man, I gave you your wrench. Of course, you a moderator, town business, east and the west. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. Yeah, so I wrenched you up, man. So you a moderator, so you can take care of these haters when they come on here. So you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. But man, check this out. I don't see how anybody at this point can continue to support Tank. I've never seen such a scary ass dude before in my life. This man refuses to get in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. He don't want to fight Deb. He don't want to fight Shakur. He don't want. I mean, like the dude is really trying to ease his way out of boxing. So I don't want to hear this stuff about Tank is this and Tank is that, because at the end of the day, he doesn't appear to be. This man told Shakur Stevenson, no matter how you feel about Shakur Stevenson, which is real talk, he not giving Shakur Stevenson a payday, but he'd rather give everybody else a payday. But he taking second billing to Jake Paul. He taking second billing to a YouTuber. I'm talking about a failed child actor. And if you listen to the press conference, Tank was referring to something being scripted. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, Tank, what is you talking about that's being scripted? At the end of the day, Tank, you better be careful because Jake might try to humiliate you. I think Jake is going to try to throw something and he going to try to knock Tank out or at least put Tank on his back. That's why Tank was saying, well, if you don't follow what's supposed to go on, then I'm going to beat you and Jay Leon Love's ass. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, people built this dude to be like this unstoppable force. It's almost like what you seen with Triple G. It's like they built Triple G up to be this unstoppable force, but then as Triple G's popularity rose, there were certain fights and certain fighters that they kept him away from. This was the same Triple G that called out Andre Ward, and then when Andre Ward answered the call, then all of a sudden they didn't want to make the fight. So it's like Tank just don't want to fight nobody of substance. And like I said, Tank, he don't have no problem going in on the brothers though, but then when it comes to the others, all of a sudden, he wanted to tread water. And like I said, I understand why some people don't like Shakur Stevenson, because Shakur Stevenson do be saying some stupid shit. He really do. But at the end of the day, this is why boxing is where it is today. This is why a lot of the networks just said, you know, the hell with boxing, the hell with professional boxing. Because at the end of the day, we can't get the promoters or the fighters or the networks to be on one accord unless it's under extreme circumstances. We should have been able to make certain fights and we wasn't able to make it. Because basically you had dudes that wanted to leapfrog and, you know, basically jump ahead of the line and basically finesse their way to certain fights and certain paydays. And that's all it come down to without taking, you know, the risk. It was all about the reward. It was all about the gold at the end of the rainbow. It wasn't about chasing greatness. It was about chasing dollars. It wasn't about legacy. It wasn't about trying to be the best. Tank already said he don't care about being a pound-for-pound fighter. He don't care about being a legend. He don't care about none of that stuff. All he care about is dollars and cents. And basically, he done told y'all right to y'all damn faces that he don't give a damn about his fans. The man sat up there ridiculing his fans, talking about, oh, just shut up and be a fan, you know. And then anybody else that get attention, he started throwing temper tantrums and tweeting like, you know what I'm saying? And then he'll be the same dude that'll say, oh, people be saying personal stuff about me, but you always saying personal stuff about everybody else. And then we all know that pull up on Devin Haney was hella fake because you had hella bodyguards with you. If you was really about that shit, like I said, Mr. Baltimore with your green purse and your pink fur coats and your, you know what I'm saying, and your gloss nails, I mean, you would have really ran up. You had a chance to swing on Devin and you didn't do shit except talk shit in a car, you know, with your bodyguards. And we all know you wasn't gonna do nothing. You know, we all know you ain't gonna do nothing. All you want to do is sit up here and go back and forth with niggas on the internet. You ain't about that life. You ain't nice like that. Like I said, Frank Martin really did a number on your confidence. All that happened is with Tank. He didn't want a second fight because he is questioning himself. Like I said, this is what happens when you are built as a machine instead of a fighter. See, they made you a marketing machine, a marketing tool, you know. And after a while, if you have a whole bunch of yes men and telling you you're this, you're a superstar, you're this, you're that, you, to a certain degree, you gonna believe it. You gonna believe certain things are either above you or beneath you. And he believed dudes like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and a few other people is beneath him. But like he said he not trying to be a legend. He said he don't care about being pound for pound. He don't care about none of that stuff. So that's his makeup. That's who he is. I mean, this is why I didn't found myself in trouble, and I just got to tell the truth. This is why I didn't found myself in trouble with a lot of these. I'm not gonna say all of them. This is why I didn't found myself in trouble with the PBC, because Tank watched these videos and he has people that send him these videos. I know for a fact I done got phone calls made about me. And you know how I know? Because they didn't told me. The actual people didn't told me that fighters didn't complain about certain content that I didn't put out about them. But my thing is, why should you care what I think? Why are you bothered what I think? You do understand this is the everyday life. This is the everyday world. They're gonna always be motherfuckers that ain't gonna like you. Do you think I care that there's people on here that make videos saying they don't like me? Good. You know why I don't care? Because whenever you mention my name, that's free publicity. So I thank you. Please keep making videos about me, good or bad, because at the end of the day, that's free advertisement. Because they'll come to my channel, that's cool. They'll say something slick, or they may say, hey, good content. At the end of the day, it's a view. It's a view for me, and you done made me a little bit of money. So yeah, keep my name in your mouth. That's just real talk. That's how it works. But for Tank and some of these boxers to be that damn emotional to where they just actually literally call the PR people with the PBC and call certain people, because I can tell you all their names. I can tell you, I know the whole pecking order. I know how it works. I know who's the first in command, the second in command, the third in command. And like I said before, but this is what they be doing. Y'all gotta ask yourself, why haven't I got credential for a PBC fight in about a couple of years? Because they didn't ostracize me, and they ostracized a lot of other people, in particularly a lot of black media. I keep trying to tell you, the PBC is not pro-black. It don't stand for pro-black channels. The PBC do not stand for pro-black channels, because they do not like that. The only thing Al Heyman care about is green. And the funny thing is, all these super militant niggas be sitting up here caping for Al Heyman, but then, for the most part, with the exception of Errol Spence and Tank, he pushed a lot of his black fighters to the you know, he put them on the back burner. He pushed them to the back of the bus. So riddle me that, since y'all be so power to the people with Al Heyman. I'm just keeping it 100. I can tell you exactly some of the people that they kept me out. But, you know, we gonna see what happens. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep it 100. And I was laughing because, okay, they had the press conference. They had the press conference in New York. They had the press conference in Miami. They denied me media credentials for the press conference. I have never in my life been denied media credentials for a press conference. But I noticed anything it has to do with Tank. So that's the thing, Tank. I'm not gonna go easy on you just so I can get into your fights. I don't get down like that. That's just not how I roll. Can't do it, won't do it. So, you know, just gotta keep it a buck. Yeah, you could say. Well, that's what happens with Tank and Jake Paul press conference. They bury and UFC. I can tell you right now, and I'm not hating on Sean, but they gonna remember that. When he basically asked Dana White those questions, I can tell you right now, they hold grudges against you. They have a list of certain people that they will bring in that they know ask them not even softball questions. They're gonna ask them tennis ball questions. Like, they're gonna always let the dudes like Marcos, and I don't have no problem with Marcos. Marcos is cool. They're gonna always let Marcos fight hype and goofy ass Ellie Setback in, because you know Ellie Setback always have his head up Tank's ass. So they're gonna have a controlled environment. Anybody that they see that may be what you would call like a hard ass, somebody that's gonna ask you tough questions, they're gonna be hesitant to let you in. And I'm gonna tell you how it works. If they let you in, they're gonna call you, or they're gonna credential you, and when you show up to pick up your credentials, they're gonna pull you to the side and say, hey, would you mind not doing this, mind not doing that? Listen, I've been doing this for a while. I done did over 40 fights, if I'm not mistaken. I done covered like 40 fights. The only complaint that I ever got from Top Rank was that they wanted me to make my interviews a little bit longer. And I told the dude, I said, well, you know, I was just trying to be courteous of other media. He said, I understand that, but you know, you could ask a couple of more questions, just like these. So, you know, that's why y'all notice after a while my interviews started being a little bit longer than like 1 minute and stuff. So, you know, but I still try to keep my interviews between 2 to 3 minutes, because at the end of the day, I'm not there to try to talk to somebody for like 15 minutes like some of these other dudes be doing. You know, because I do have an issue if I see a dude that's like talking to a dude longer than 5 minutes and he know it's other media people in there trying to ask questions. Then I'm gonna either go to the people and say, hey, dude, take it too long, or I'm gonna tap dude on the shoulder, you know, that's filming, and be like, hey, man, you know. But yeah, I'm giving y'all in depth what be going on. I'm telling y'all what they do to people. I'm telling you right now, if they credential me to a Tank fight, or they credential me to basically a PBC event, I'm gonna have to talk to this dude. He gonna pull me to the side, or he gonna call me and say, hey man, could you no. And I'm telling y'all that right now, I'm not gonna change who I am. If I feel I need to ask a certain question, I'm gonna ask a certain question. That's just how I roll. But you know, Tank be talking all this, the thing, and the problem that I think a lot of people have with Tank be sitting up online, he sit up online, he sit at these press conferences talking all this super nigga shit, but then he really ain't about that. Because if you was on some super nigga shit, you wouldn't be ducking certain fighters, you wouldn't be ducking certain questions, you wouldn't have people like, you know, basically trying to control what you ask a certain fighter if you so street savvy. But we all know Tank is not street savvy. That's a facade. You know, at the end of the day, Tank is who he is, and he showed it. The man is scared of Shakur Stevenson. He's scared of Shakur. He's scared of Devin. He don't want to fight them dudes because he don't believe that he can beat them dudes, or he don't believe he can beat them decisively. I've always knew if Tank is Shakur, and this is what I believe, my heart's heart. I'm gonna go on record. Now I could be wrong, but I'm usually not wrong. I believe in my heart of hearts, if Tank was to fight Shakur Stevenson gonna do a number on him. And I think Tank knows it, Shakur knows it, and I think the PBC knows it. Tank is fixated on talking about what happened in sparring. Okay, well, if you know what I'm saying, if you beat somebody so decisively, and if you believe in your skills like how you believe in your sparring skills, why not have an actual fight? Why all the slipping and sliding? You walk around, yeah, that's true. You walk around and call yourself Tank, but you actually like one of them little green miniature plastic tanks that you used to get out of Woolworths. What was that store? Woolworths? Yeah. or Emporium cat wheels or some shit like that you used to get a whole bunch of them plastic tanks for like $1. They'll give you like 10 or 12 of them. That's who Tank is. He a plastic tank. He definitely ain't no real tank. Because if you was a real tank, you know what I'm saying? Tanks are unstoppable forces for the most part. It take a lot to stop a tank. But this dude, the very thought when you mentioned Shakur Stevenson, this dude freak out. You seeing the Richard Pryor and Tank. I might start calling him Tank Pryor. I'm talking about you literally see the Shaggy and Tank when it comes to Shakur Stevenson. That man is scared to death of Shakur Stevenson. They not. Adi, I tried to talk to Tank I tried to talk to him in Atlanta when Shakur, because he came to Shakur's fight when he stopped Jamel Herring. I was at that fight. And Tank had his security team walking past everybody and stuff, so you know he didn't want to talk to nobody. So I'm just saying it's hard to get to dudes like Tank. But I can say this about Shakur Stevenson, even though Shakur Stevenson sometimes get a little too emotional, and I'm just keeping it 100, but Shakur is always giving me access. That's just real talk. I just keep it a buck. But y'all got to understand something about Tank. Tank is a very small dude. I think Tank at the worst case scenario, Tank is like 5'3". Best case scenario, he may be about 5'4.5", because Tank is small as hell. I done seen Tank in real life. I done interviewed Tank, you know, before he blew up. He ain't who he pretend to be. Like Dennis Green said, when Dennis Green said they are who we thought they were, well, that's not the case with Tank. He ain't who we thought he is. Like I say, that man freak out. That man have a panic. I've never seen this. That man have a panic attack when you bring up Shakur Stevenson. I mean, he has a meltdown when you bring up that dude's name. Well, I gotta fight Shakur. Who is he? Who is he fought? I ain't giving him a payday. I've always, listen, I'm going to go on record. I've always believed in my heart of hearts, like I said, if Tank and Shakur fought, that Shakur would beat Tank decisively. He might even stop Tank. I mean, how many excuses you gonna keep hearing from Tank? And the Tank fans is running out of excuses. They listening to this video, but they ain't gonna come on here because I got an answer for every excuse they come with. They gonna do what they always do. They gonna wait till I end the stream and then they gonna come on here talking shit. Just like what's been going on with the Canelo fans. The Canelo fans, they have nothing to say. They can't say anything. What can they say? But it don't matter. It don't matter because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be at a PBC event that's coming up really soon. So I'm gonna be there whether I get credentials or no credential. So I'm just gonna do what I used to do. I'm just gonna pull up. I'm just gonna pull up. Tank and his little fanny boys, they done ran out of excuses now. If Tank retires after the Jake Paul fight, Tank is not a Hall of Famer. I didn't think Tank was a Hall of Famer before the Jake Paul fight. I didn't think Tank was a Hall of Famer, period, because at the end of the day, Tank has never fought a current pound-for-pound fighter in his life. When Bud fought Gamboa, Gamboa was a legitimate pound-for-pound fighter. He was in the discussion. And Bud took that 0 away from him. He was undefeated. Frank Martin wasn't on nobody's pound-for-pound list. Frank Martin was an up-and-coming solid fighter. And that's just real talk. Ryan Garcia had a question mark. Ryan Garcia got the Tank fight because of his popularity. Because he had all those followers on social media. And then you seen what happened when he fought Tank, and then he needed a shitload of PEDs to beat Devin Haney. And then now that he can't use PEDs, he looked average against Rolly. So I'm just saying, where these Tank fans at? Where they at? Where these Tank defenders at? Where they at? It's funny when I do these lives and I invite these dudes to come on here, they never show up. Just like when I be doing my more, you know what I'm saying, racier, political, you know what I'm saying, race related videos. They never come on here. I invite people to come on here, and then they never bring their asses on here. They wait until I stop the stream, and then they come on here talking shit. So where you Tank fans at? Come on. I got time. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Come on here and try to explain to me, why shouldn't Tank fight Shakur Stevenson? Shakur Stevenson is pound for pound on pretty much everybody's list. You know how much that would legitimize Tank if he fought and beat Shakur Stevenson? I never understood that before in my life. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a better chance of getting a fight with Tank than Shakur Stevenson do, or Devin Haney. Oh yeah, and his little purse. Yeah, that's true. His little green purse. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, his little green purse and his pink fur coat. Told you they ain't not. See, I told you they ain't nowhere to be found. The only thing they gonna come up with this. Let me tell you how predictable they are. This is what they gonna say. Oh, who wants to see a fight with Shakur Stevenson? All he gonna do is run. Shakur Stevenson is boring. Shakur Stevenson don't sell no ticket. That's a lie. That's a lie. I done covered like 4 Shakur Stevenson fights. Shakur Stevenson averages a minimum of like 11 to 12,000 per fight. When he fought Oscar Valdez in Las Vegas, a fight I was at, it was hella people there. But that's what Tank will say. Tank will say Devin Haney can't sell. I didn't cover Devin Haney's last few fights. Devin Haney averages a minimum of 13,000. Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson can fight in full-fledged arenas. We all know Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko couldn't sell out a movie theater. We all know that them dudes couldn't sell out the parking lot of McDonald's. So that'll be their go-to move. They'll say, oh, Shakur Stevenson, all he gonna do is run. Okay, well, you know what? That's Tank. If Tank's so good, he's supposed to be able to have an answer for that. He's supposed to be able to counter that. Where do it say Where do it say in the rules of engagement when it pertains to professional boxing that you just, when the bell ring, you have to stand in one spot and exchange punches? That's why it's called the square circle. That's why it's called a boxing ring, because you are allowed to move around. It's not called fight in the box. It's called boxing. For in and out. Yeah, Tank is the B-side. You know what? If I'm Shakur Stevenson, I would really get on Tank's helmet. I would play this song by Common that Common made when he called himself getting at the West Side Connection, and the song was called "The Bitch in You." I ain't gonna lie, it was a pretty good diss song. It was a pretty good diss song towards Ice Cube and the West Side Connection. But the funny part is, Louis Farrakhan talked Ice Cube out of releasing a diss record towards Common. Most people that heard the song, they said if that song got released, they said Common's career would have been over. They said it was up there with No Vaseline. Ice Cube said it. Ice Cube confirmed it, and a few other people said, yeah, Ice Cube made a reply to the bitch in you. They said that would have ended Common's career. But, you know, Farrakhan stepped in and he squashed the beat. I wonder could I get in contact with, because I got access to some of Ice Cube's people. I wonder could I get Ice Cube or somebody from his camp to release that song. I want to hear it. Well, that's what I'm saying. There's your answer. Whether people like it or not, Tank, he struggled against Rolly. He had a hard 12-round fight with Gamboa. He knocked Gamboa out like in the 12th round. He struggled in that fight. Frank Martin gave him some problems. See, that's the thing. People don't want to tell the truth. Leo Santa Cruz was giving Tank fits. Mario Barrios was giving Tank fits. So, you know, I'm just saying. People don't be wanting to tell the truth. One thing about Tank, if you watch Tank fights, Tank is not as dominant or was as dominant as Floyd was. When you fought Floyd, you barely won rounds against Floyd. You was lucky to win in a fight with Floyd. You was lucky to win 3 rounds against Floyd. And see, that's the difference. See, Tank, and some of his fights, you'd have seen him lose like 4 to 5 rounds. Now he did catch Leo Santa Cruz with the difference maker, and you know basically folded him. Same thing with Barrios, but Rolly, Barrios, and Leo Santa Cruz was giving Tank fits. So Tank does fall behind in his fights, or at least he has an uphill battle. He doesn't dominate rounds. I'm just keeping it a buck. Nah. It's cool, bro. That was shit. What was that? That was like what, 25 years ago? Shit. That was a while ago. Nah. Hey, to all my LA people, man, leave Common alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. That was 20-something years ago, man. That's no. I'm just brief. I want to hear the song though. That you got to remember something though. There's always like a 8X copy, because back then before everything went digital, they probably got a reel of that song somewhere, and I'm pretty sure they got it. I'm pretty sure Ice Cube got that song somewhere, because when you record an album, let's just say you have like 13 tracks. Most of the time you record like 25-30 songs, and you may put half of the songs on the album. Snoop Dogg said he recorded like 30 songs for Doggy Style and only like 16, I think like 16 made the album. And then after a couple of years, they took one song off, that G's Up, what's it called? Will the Real G's Please Stand Up? Because they couldn't get clearance for the Isaac Hayes sample. And I have that original CD with G's Up, Hoes Down, I think. It's somewhere around the house. It's somewhere in the basement. But I got the original 1993 print. Because the later prints, they took that song off. So, you know, I'm just saying. Just saying. Yeah, if you go get a copy of Doggy Style now, they took G's Up, Holes Down. I think I gotta remember what that, I think it was called Will the Real G's Please. Remember it had the Isaac Hayes sample, that dun, 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 dun. So the original 1993 print, when it first came out, it's on that album. It's on the album and the tape. Now then, like the later versions, they took it off because of sampling and all that kind of stuff. So they couldn't get the clearance couldn't go through for the sample. I guess Isaac Hayes people or whoever owned the publishing didn't want to clear the sample. But yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, hey, we should ask Ice Cube to release the song. I mean, I just want to hear it. Because Ice Cube said himself, it's on YouTube, he said, yeah, I had a song that was going to end Common's career. No, that's real talk. That's real talk. It's on YouTube. Ice Cube said he had a reply to the bitch of you. He said that song was going to end Common's career. And I believe Ice Cube. I have no reason to believe that Ice Cube was lying. Hey, you know how I know Ice Cube telling the truth? After Ice Cube released No Vaseline on Death Certificate, there was never another NWA album ever recorded. Boom. So they hey, another NWA album never got recorded after No Vaseline came out. There was never ever another. Am I lying? Am I lying? Am I lying? After No Vaseline came out, there was never ever another NWA album ever again. So there you have it. But anyway, you guys, let me get up out of here. If it hit the freeway, be back with more later on. Appreciate you guys.